Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Rachel from Rachel on Paper. Today I'm going to be talking about the planners and journals I'm currently using. So I'm going to do a brief Q1 lineup update. Things have shifted quite a bit since I filmed the last lineup video back in December. And I want to talk about what was working, what wasn't working, and how things have evolved since January 1st when I really started trying out the system that I had set up for 2024. So if that sounds good, let's jump right in. So if you saw my last lineup video, you'll know that I was planning to start the year off with these two planners and journals. I was going to be using the B6 Common Planner as my main journal and the Hobonichi Weeks as my main planner and everyday carry. I'm no longer using either of these, and I want to talk about why. So let's start with my planner. First, I want to mention the different planners I'm using and then talk about sort of why I ended up moving out of the Hobonichi Weeks. So right now my planner lineup consists of these three notebooks. This is a common planner in the week size, the compact version, so it has 120 notes pages. This is my on-the-go planner, my everyday carry. I use the back notes pages as an on-the-go notebook. That's what's going on here. And then this is new to the lineup. I didn't start the year off with something like this, but this is what I'm calling my main planner right now. This is my daily planner, my messy planner. Here I'm using a grid notebook from Sterling Ink, just a notebook, not a planner, as my daily planner. I have a day per page. I write out my schedule, to-do list. I rapid log the day. This is where I'm doing really most of my planning, and it's working really well. I also have in the front here the monthly insert from Sterling Ink, which I'm using for goal tracking and habit tracking. So this is my main planner that I'm using most of the time. This is really like the workhorse in my system. This is my on-the-go planner, and this is my work planner. This hasn't changed at all. I don't really show this on here. I know I've said multiple times in previous videos that I would film a setup of my work planner, and I'm still planning to do that. My YouTube ambitions are misaligned with how much time I have right now, but I know, this is a busy season, and I will eventually find the time to talk more comprehensively about my work planning. But just briefly, this is a Hobonichi day free. I use this to map out work deadlines and conferences and different stuff I need to work on when. I do most of my work planning in Notion, and this really serves as a place where I write things down and sketch things out as I need to, but a lot of the actual planning happens digitally. So this is my work planner. Nothing has changed here. I like keeping my work planner separate because at the end of the day, when I'm done working, I close it, I put it off to the side. And even though there is some work stuff in my main planner and my on-the-go planner, these are much more about sort of life more broadly. So I'm gonna put this aside. So the main reason I ended up switching things up to start is that I was really missing a day per page. So in the Hobonichi Weeks, I had dailies in the back in the notes pages. Let me see if I could find one that I can share. Okay, so you'll see some dailies here that I was using in my Hobonichi Weeks, and it was working fine, but I really missed a day per page. So for a long time, in terms of my planning, I had been using the Hobonichi Cousin, and I got really used to having a day per page for planning. Even though I didn't always need a day per page, I really liked sketching out my schedule, writing down my to-do list, and then just jotting down stuff from the day. So that's essentially what I've been doing here. This really helps me map out my day, think about where I have time to get an exercise, to read, when I have to care for my son, like all of those things, it really helps me to like see the day and then have enough space to adjust things as the day changes and evolves, right? As other stuff comes up. And so what I like to do, I've been using, this is washi tape. I'm not sure if you can see, from Sterling Ink's shop, this timed washi tape, this number. And so I've been using this here. I set up the week before and I keep like a schedule of my day. And then I usually am like rapid logging my day. So just jotting down other stuff that happens. So I have a really clear picture of what happened that day, what I got done, what I didn't get done. And then I usually have a to-do list here. This to-do list is almost always all personal stuff, although sometimes big work stuff will creep its way onto here. So let me see if I can find, like last week, I was working on getting ready for a conference. And so, I wrote down finished presentation because it just was like the biggest thing I absolutely needed to get done. And so that's how I've been using this planner. It's mostly these day per pages. I set them up the week, like Sunday night, I will set up for the week in advance. And I just love having the day per page. Sometimes I don't need it, but I love the flexibility of it. I love having it available. And I really focus on trying to like keep this open and fill this out at the end of the day. And then I use this to journal because I'm not in a habit of journaling every day, which is fine. Although I have been doing some like micro journaling in here. Writing down things I'm grateful for or exciting things that happened. And then I use this as basically like a launching off point to journal or look back on the day when I want to fill in stuff in my journal or back journal. And so this has been working out really well for me. I'm really loving the flexibility of having this undated notebook. And I'm thinking hopefully I can get 6 months out of this and then I'd have 2 books for the end of the year, but maybe I'll need 3 and that's fine. Again, I'm just really enjoying the flexibility of this undated book and the day per page. This is really what I was missing. I had been planning like this for a really long time up until last year. And I stopped last year for a variety of reasons. And I realized that I was really trying to prioritize finding time to exercise every day, go for a daily walk. And so it was really important to me to try to, use my planner to help me meet those goals. And having a day per page where I can, again, sketch out the day, make sure I have a time block for exercise has been really helpful for that. And then in the front here, I have just this monthly insert from Sterling Ink that I'm using for goal planning. So here I have my habit tracker, which I'm keeping very minimal, like just the things, the absolute highest priority things I want to be tracking. I feel like I realized my tracking was getting out of control. I was trying to track too many things and that was becoming a challenge to keep up with. And then here, reading, YouTube, and Substack are big priorities for me. And I've been trying to think through can I actually make time for all of these? And I think I can. I'm averaging 1 YouTube video a month, which is fine, and 1 Substack newsletter a month. But I'm trying to increase the writing, and so seeing and I'm doing very well with reading. I've been reading a lot, which feels great, and so I like seeing these at a high level here. And then here I'm just using this as a monthly with future planning. By future planning, I mean just upcoming appointments, travel. There's a lot of redundancy between this booklet and what I have in the monthlies in here in my on-the-go planner, but that's okay. I like some redundancy built into my setup and my lineup. There is usually a point when it becomes too much, there's too much redundancy, but I'm not there yet. This doesn't, having 2 monthlies doesn't feel like too much to keep up with for me. But I like having this here because most of the time when I'm in my house, I'm just carrying this around. And sometimes when I go out, I'm just taking this. And that means I have on the go, the calendar stuff I need and my daily, which is usually all I need for that day. I know what I need to do and I have whatever list. Although sometimes I do just take this I don't usually take both of these, but that's all to say I really like having a monthly here too, because it feels like I have all of the information at my fingertips, and I like having doing all of my goal tracking in this main book that's really feeling like my main planner. Like I'm doing most of my actual planning in this notebook. And then in the back here, I have set up some collections. I decided to set up my collections here because, again, like this was feeling like my main book, and I am really bad with keeping collections and trackers up to date if they're spread across a bunch of different notebooks. And so I'm trying to consolidate everything in this one book that I need to update on a daily basis. So on a daily basis, I want to update my habits. I want to, make sure to look at the monthly calendar. I want to look at my dailies and rapid log the day. Those are all things I want to make sure I'm doing on a daily basis and keeping up. And so that's why I have my collections in this background, because this is what I am, this book is what I'm trying to keep up to date. And I know that all the stuff I need to check and keep up to date is in this one book. And so in the back here, we just have a few collections. I was trying to minimize from what I had set up in my week. So I have a number of books read. I've read 17 books so far this year. I'm really proud of myself. I'm on pace. And my goal is to read 60 books in 2024. And then I have some other collections of media, podcasts, music, TV shows, movies we watch. My husband and I are big movie people. We watch a lot of movies, and so it's fun to, track everything we watch over the year. And I don't really do a rating system. I don't have a rating system for movies. It's just a star if I liked it and would rewatch it is my very basic rating system here. And then I have a cycle tracker, an adulting log, a parenting log, and then I've got some financial stuff back here. And then I also set up this collection, which I thought would be fun, which is just the stuff that my son is loving. My son is 2.5, or I guess he'll be 3 in June. And so I thought it'd be fun to track the stuff he's watching and reading. I have other plans to fill this out, but this was essentially like trying to get a snapshot of his life in 2024. So that is this setup. So this cover is from Bujo Planner. You can find her on Instagram. I'll be sure to link her page down below. I love her shop. This is the second cover I've bought from her, and the quality is fantastic. It came with strings, but I took them out because I actually just liked how this was slipped into the pockets like this. It feels really portable and slim, and I'm really loving this setup. So the last planner I am using is this common planner in the week size. So I picked this up for a couple reasons. One was just, I was curious. I love Catherine from Sterling Inc., her planner lineup, and I really wanted to see the week size book, and I was not disappointed. I was also really attracted to her week size books because they had more notes pages than the typical slim hobonichi. So like the regular hobonichi weeks has, I think, 70 notes pages, which always feels like too few for me. And the mega has 220, which feels like too many. And so I was really attracted to the compact version of the common planner because it has 120 pages, and I love it. I'm so happy with this. I could have kept using the Hobonichi Weeks Mega, but I don't know. I wanted to set something new up, and I didn't want to see all these trackers that I wanted to keep my trackers in here, and I feel like it gets confusing when I have them set up in multiple places. So I just picked this up. I decided to treat myself, and I'm really happy with it for a couple of reasons. Again, there's more notes pages, so it feels like more than enough for what I need as an on-the-go notebook. And the other thing I really, really love about this is that it is just slightly bigger than the Hobonichi Weeks. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, and a little bit wider. And it might feel like, this is a very minor difference, but it's a difference that really feels meaningful to me. And also because of the layout, it just does feel like more space, you know? So if you look at this, the Hobonichi Weeks layout, you have the quote at the bottom, like you have so much more space per day, and I'm really loving that. And I love the white Tomoe River paper. So I've been having a lot of fun with this week size common planner. This is working out really well. So the way I use this is just for like messy future planning. Like I'm filming this on March 23rd. I know I have some stuff coming up, and so I just I jot it down already. I jot it down like when I know it gets scheduled or when it's coming up. And it's nice to just have it's a place where I do, you know, messy future planning. Like I'm just writing things down. I'm not thinking about it. I don't need to set it up beforehand. And then what I usually do is keep like a running to-do list here of stuff I want to get done that week that's not day specific, and like creative stuff I want to get done that week. And then this is just high level like appointments. I've been writing down the weather here. I lived in California for 7 years, in Southern California, and I feel like I just got out of the habit of checking the weather in a way that's very bizarre to me, because I am from New York City and lived there for 27 years before moving out to the West Coast. But that is all to say, I've been trying to write down the weather because I need to remind myself to check the weather. I'm like constantly surprised by how cold or warm it is, or if it's raining, and I'm just like why, what is wrong with me? Why am I out of the habit of checking the weather? And so writing it down has been helpful. But yeah, it's super simple. I usually keep this open on my desk alongside this. And I check this every morning when I'm deciding like what I need to do in a given day. So when I'm making my daily to-do list, I look at this and see if there's anything I could take from my weekly to-do list here. And now I could integrate this like weekly layout into this setup. Catherine sells the weekly inserts, but I really just like seeing them next to each other in this way is one thing. And then the second reason I like keeping them separate is because this is so small and compact. Like when I'm traveling or if I'm running errands, I usually just take this with me. Or if I'm going to work, I usually take my work planner and this with me. I don't usually take this out of the house for like work stuff. If I'm traveling for a work conference, like this is more than enough. It has everything I need for personal planning on the go. And it has, all these notes pages, which serve as an on the go notebook. So this is working out really well. I have this in a new cover that I bought. This was my Christmas present to myself. And the common planner, even though it's, taller and wider, fits great. It's super snug. I love the way it fits in here. It's a bit taller, but it fits. It's very comfortable. So this is from Vanderspec. This is the Janet Leather Brown. This is the mega size because I bought it thinking I was using this planner, and it fits the compact sterling ink very well. I love this planner. I've had it before and I sold it last year and I immediately regretted it. And so I bought myself one for Christmas and I'm so thrilled with it. I did get some water stains on it. Anybody who's had this leather before knows that it picks up marks really easily. And I was sad when I saw that, but I want this to be functional. This is what I throw in my bag. This is what I take with me when I'm traveling. And so I am actively trying to choose not to be precious about it and just let the leather look lived in. And I'm loving the lived in feeling it's starting to get. So these are my planners. This is working really well. I've put this aside, and if I want to pick it up again, I'll pick it up again. And then in terms of journals, I am no longer using the B6 Common Planner. I am using I've been using for the last week, a Hobonichi Cousin Spring Start. So there are a couple reasons why I moved out of the B6. Two main reasons really. One, I was missing the A5 size. I also really miss the Hobonichi. I have had Hobonichi Cousins in my lineup for the last 5 years, and I, miss the Hobonichi Cousin. And the other thing that I realized in getting the half year, because I had used the B6 Common Planner in the full year last year, was I really got attached to the full year. I liked having the full year, even though the chunk was starting to annoy me at the end. I really liked how chunky it was. I missed the chunky full year planner. And so because I wanted a full year planner and because I wanted the A5 size, I decided to pick up the Hobonichi Cousins Spring Start. And I've set it up. I'm also trying to consolidate journals into this as my everything journal. I had tried to set up too many journals at the beginning of the year, and I think I was just excited and wanted to use lots of my stationery, but it wasn't sustainable. So I had a creative journal, a Dear Diary journal, which was just like for private, for me, long form journaling, creative journal, and then my family memory keeper journal, and place where I was documenting life, which was this one. And so I'm trying to consolidate everything into here. I also had an ink journal. I was keeping up with none of them except the B6. And so I decided this is going to be my everything journal. The only other journal I'm still keeping up with besides this one, or planning to, is my reading journal. So here I'm going to be documenting life, family memory keeping, creative journaling, art journaling, whatever I want to do, whatever fun I want to have journaling. My plan is to do it here. I also tried to integrate my ink journal into here and swatched I'm still in the middle of trying to swatch all of my inks, but again, the goal here is to consolidate journals. This is going to be my everything journal, and I'm really excited about it. And we'll see. I've never used the Hobonichi Cousin as a journal. I've only ever used it as a planner with some journaling mixed in. And so I've always really admired people who use the Hobonichi Cousin as a journal. And I've been really inspired by a bunch of creators. I actually wrote them down somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. And so these are the creators that I've been really inspired by who are using Hobonichi Cousins as journals: Julie's Plans, Claire from Online, Bronte. I will be sure to link all of these channels down below, and Linda Loves Creating. And so I am excited to try this out as just a journal. It never really worked for me as a planner and journal. It started to feel like there wasn't enough space, but I think having this just as a journal, and anytime I want to journal really about anything, I do it here. I feel like I will be able to fill this up, and it'll be really, really fun to look back on. So this is my everything journal. I'm going to film a setup of this probably today, so you'll see the same desk setup, and talk about this in more depth, but I'm really excited about this. I also really wanted to move back into the A5 because I have so many beautiful A5 covers, including this one from Hobonichi that feels very spring appropriate, and I was very excited to pull out. And then the last journal that I'm using is my reading journal. So I was debating integrating reading into here, and I do track some reading in here and write down what I'm currently reading. And I have also monthly, I set up these monthly pages where I'm tracking the books I read in March, and then the books I'll read in April, tracking the books I read each month. And I really like doing that, but I decided I still want to try to keep up with my separate reading journal, in large part because I've set it up such that it's not hard to keep up. That was very intentional because I'm, again, bad with keeping up with multiple journals. But the plan here is, this is a grid notebook from Sterling Ink. It's has 500 something pages. And I think I can get 2 to 3 years in here. And I really am into that idea because some of these collections I've set up, I'm not going to be able to, complete them in 2024. So I have, for example, this collection of reading the classics. I want to go through and read all of Toni Morrison's work. I've read some of her work, not all of it. I think it'd be really fun to try to go through in chronological order all of her novels. I'm also wanting to read August Wilson's novels, or August Wilson's plays, and Octavia Butler's work. And so I wrote out all of the books that are in these different series by these different authors that I want to revisit. I'm not going to be able to finish all of these in 2024. And so I really love the idea of just having this collection in this one notebook that spans a couple of years that I can continue to check things off of. And so I'm really excited about how this has come together, and I'm planning to film a separate setup video of this reading journal, maybe today if I have time, but I'm the only thing I really need to keep up here, which is why it feels possible, is this tracker, which is just how many books I read. I have not, I think I need to fill in a couple of more. And this tracker where I print out pictures of the books I finish and give them a star rating. I don't write down like journaling reflections in here of every book I finish. I do that digitally. And I've been trying to write reviews for my Substack newsletter. So if you are into books and reading and want to follow me there, I'll be sure to link down to my Substack in the description box below. But it really feels like, there's only a couple things I need to update. It's not hard to keep update. And then I have like some reading notes in the back. I don't always take reading notes on the books I'm reading, but it's nice to have space, dedicated space where I can do that when I want to. And I just love the idea of this filling up over a couple of years and like getting the satisfaction of seeing how many books I've read and the different types of books I read, and being able to revisit all of the bookish related things in one place. So those are all of my planners and journals. It may feel like a lot, but it feels like a lot less than I started the year out with, and the system's really working for me. I'm really excited. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below. So yeah, thanks so much for spending some time with me, and talk to you all soon. Bye now.